Become a premium member on RealCatholicTV.com today. Not only will you learn about the one true faith, just think of all the new friends you'll make.
When the saints go marching in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Vorse. If you haven't noticed, the way to advance your cause, regardless of what it is to play the victim, even if you're not actually a victim, even if you have to disregard other legitimate victims in the process of making yourself be the biggest victim, and even if you have to victimize others to promote your own victimhood. Yeah, a lot of victim stuff going on. And you can be sure that if you have a pitch to make about being a victim that happily corresponds to the liberal, modernist, secularist, atheist, progressive movement inside and outside the church, especially in the media, then you can rest assured that you will be canonized for your victimhood. Case in point, the pure hypocrisy and double standard of the school bullying initiatives that are being hailed as the most important social movement since abolition. Everywhere on playgrounds across the nation, according to the homosexual lobby, gay children are being bullied and driven to suicide. First of all, does an immature teen, or even preteen for that matter, really have a grasp of what his or her sexual identity is when it's that confused? So children, many of them fatherless, who don't have the slightest idea about their own sexuality or sexual identification, are being encouraged by radical, militant homosexual groups to stand up and declare loud and proud something that many times may not even be the case. But even if it is the case, it still does not excuse the victimization of these young people, victimization of these young people by the homosexual movement to use them, these children, as propaganda in their culture war. These young people need the solace of strong, capable men and guidance that they are not condemned to the destructive lifestyle of homosexuality. But instead, they get no guidance and get propped up as excuses for why men having sex with men and women with women should be viewed as perfectly normal, and all those who disagree are just hate-filled monsters. So they are more than happy to trot out this canard of caring under the guise of anti-bullying laws. If they're so concerned about children being bullied, where are all the efforts to throw all those playground bullies into jail who call other kids fatty or zit-face? What about the abuse heaped on the stoner crowd? And all those dumb jocks, they sure get laughed at and mocked behind their backs quite frequently. Of course, the non-gay yet still socially inept nerds and social misfits whose mommies dress them funny, they get a lot of bullying as well. Where are all the laws and stampedes up and down the halls of Congress for them? Heck, at least a so-called gay kid can go online these days and get loads of help and encouragement in secretly lusting after the quarterback from a bunch of older men who did the same when they were kids. But pity the poor zit-faced nerd who no one sits with in the lunchroom, including that cool gay kid crowd and all the wannabe popular girls who hang around them. They wouldn't be caught dead with that kid. And of course, if you go through some schools today, you will find that it's increasingly the case that kids who believe in our blessed Lord are experiencing some bullying themselves. But in their case, it's not so much from the other kids as much as it is from teachers, principals, and school boards. They're being told to switch out their Jesus t-shirts or be sent home, to put away those rosaries, cover up those Bibles, tuck those crosses down inside their shirts, which of course stands to reason since they've been told by judges and congressmen for years now that they can't pray at graduations or football games, mention God or religion in the classroom, or do anything else that even hints at the acknowledgement of a supreme being. Unless, of course, it's Allah. And if you think that's an exaggeration, all you need to do is listen to the hate-filled, and this time the term is applied correctly, for once, hate-filled screed leveled by self-described gay boy anti-bullying champion Dan Savage, who stood in front of a crowded auditorium of high school students and absolutely let into Christian kids, calling them, quote, and excuse the expression here, but he said it, calling them pansy asses. And he was just getting warmed up. Close to 100 kids were literally bullied out of the auditorium by Mr. Anti-Bullying himself in the most overt example of bullying you could imagine in a school setting. Picture it. An adult speaker at a high school conference begins a tirade against helpless students who can do absolutely nothing to defend themselves and are heckled by him as they leave in quiet protest. Savage is an expert on bullying, all right. Only in the topsy-turvy world of so-called gay rights and homosexuality could a self-described opponent of bullying stand up and bully a bunch of Christian kids and this be seen as right. I wonder if it ever occurred to Savage, who bears an appropriate name by the way, if any of the kids he was heckling and insulting were actually homosexual themselves, but just agree with God that the orientation is wrong and have made the commitment to live pure and chaste lives. Now let's imagine that clubs like that started forming on various school campuses around the country. And let's imagine further that those kids started getting bullied. Do you really think the militant homosexuals who come to the defense of kids who try to live chastely according to their religious beliefs would happen? Not a chance. Heck, as far as we know, Savage already attacked some of them, at least in theory. No, this bullying garbage isn't about caring for kids, some of whom only, many perhaps, who only think they are gay. It's about using them as political tools to advance a perversity and to force, by weight of law, all of us to succumb and submit. The campaign is part of a much larger campaign of militant gay terrorism. They portray children as victims who deserve much greater protection from bullying than other kids, kids who exist in much greater numbers and undergo much more intense bullying. They use isolated cases here and there, which again are far, far fewer in number than the other countless episodes of bullying that goes on in school lunchrooms, bus rides, playgrounds, all over the school, in the locker rooms, in the gyms, every day of the year, multiple times a day. And they use these isolated cases to push for laws that will be another brick in the wall of the monument they are constructing to force everyone to accept homosexual sex as normal. The gay kids, or at least those who think they are gay, really are victims, but not of who you think. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.